My name is Paola. I'm a translator and translation researcher, and I decided to participate in OpenAI Build Week to build my first full-stack deployed project, which is called Equivalens. The inspiration came from a paper I co-authored on analyzing translation techniques in human, post-edited, and machine translations. We created a taxonomy with specific techniques that translators use to solve different problems, and we used manual annotations for the comparison, which took weeks and cost a lot of research budget. Now, annotations are really useful, but also really time-consuming and expensive, especially for under-resourced academic settings like language departments. So this is where Equivalens comes in. The tool automatically identifies appropriate labels in both the source text and target text. And because it's automated, it can scale to longer texts and different language pairs, opening up new possibilities for students to analyze professional translations and their own, for researchers to annotate multilingual datasets efficiently, and for anyone curious about translation to see how human translators approach creative challenges when compared to AI. Equivalens is built with React for the front end, Fast API for the back end, and it uses the Mistral AI API. And I deployed it using Render. Now, Codex has been instrumental in building this. I created a basic React app and then used Codex to guide me through the entire process. I adopted most suggestions, but also deviated when it made sense. For example, here choosing Mistral over Oyama, which was the original Codex suggestion. Codex was particularly useful for debugging during deployment and making sure I didn't leak my Mistral API key. Now, to use Equivalens, you need a source text and a target translation, and optionally, you can add a machine translation as well. Once you paste the source text, I can analyze the units of creative potential, which are the text features where translators can make creative solutions. As you can see, the app identifies these units with a confidence score and explanation that you have here. So we have the label. We have the example here of a tortoise stove, which is a compound nominal. So this is the label. And then we have a little explanation that this is a creative, no standard metaphorical description of an object, likely requiring contextual interpretation and creative translation. Now we can analyze the target translations. And as we can see here, the app labels our translation according to our taxonomy. And if we go back to the tortoise stove example, we can see that in the human target translation, the target translation replaces the creative metaphor with a different metaphorical image, seemed like an iron stove, while the machine translation retains the metaphorical image, stove in the shape of a tortoise, but adapts it to a more literal description of the shape. Now, to conclude, Equivalens saves time and makes the invisible work of translation visible. It's built for translation students, teachers, and researchers who want to understand creative choices, both their own and others. I'm planning to develop this further, so make sure to start a repository on GitHub, and thanks so much for watching.